there seems to be a little bit of a flip was switched watching Helsley leave?
I would think that he probably was in somewhat of a state of denial and thought that he had a chance to win here. And now I think his chances to win here are pretty null in the next year. Let me put it this way. If he's not going to be around and a quality player, he might not even be a quality player now, when the Cardinals are ready to win again. And with the departure of Helsley, normally when the Cardinals have had closers go in the past, they've had guys that have wound up being pretty good guys that are on the horizon. You kind of had a feeling about who the next guy might be. Man, you look now, Matthew, at this roster. Is it Leahy? Is it Graceffo? Is it Riley O'Brien? Is it Swanson? Is it Granillo? Is it Romero? This is one audition that Ali Marmol will have the opportunity to make if indeed the Cardinals wind up in a situation where they need to close games. But they can take the next couple of months to try to figure out who's capable of getting the 27th out. And I think, by the way, Leahy will be projected by the Cardinals now to be a starting pitcher in 2026 also.
Yeah, and hopefully, I'm not sure. I think people now can hear me as I'm talking. Apparently, they couldn't hear me when we opened the show. You were fine, Randy. They were hearing you loud and clear. Our mics are plugged into the same port, so I don't know how that works. So I don't remember what I was talking about first because now I've been completely thrown off by everything that just happened there. Yeah, by stuff happening behind the scenes. But the bottom line is, Arenado would seems to be. Like his mindset has flipped because of the Helsley trade. And I know this is probably pie in the sky, a ridiculous thought process, but I'm gonna dive into it anyway. Seems like if Helsley would have got moved in December, maybe the conversation around the Astros trade maybe would have been different.
Yeah, that could be,
because it seems like you said, is he getting through the denial part of it? And he was always saying, well, maybe we can finally figure something out. And as long as I'm here and we're over 500, he'll be here or something along those lines. But it does make me think, and again, I might be being ridiculous, man, if they just could have pulled the trigger on Helsley in December, maybe all the conversations around Arenado and bypassing that no trade clause could have been a little different.
Yeah, I wonder, was there, and I honestly don't recall if a closer was moved during the offseason. There were several free agent signings, obviously, the Dodgers, but was there a major league closer, an impact guy? Chapman signed as a free agent. Baltimore didn't get one. The Yankees traded for Devin Williams, I guess, so there's one.
Yeah.
Let's see, Minnesota, KC didn't, Detroit didn't, Cleveland, Chicago, Oakland, and Ryan Presley got traded but didn't wind up being a closer, and he wasn't that good. And the Cardinals were going to deal with the Cubs. Mo's never made a deal with the Cubs.
Phillies and White Sox flipped Gilbert and Combs.
Yeah, that's
nothing
big. So when you look at the market for closers during the offseason, it seems like teams were more interested in the idea of getting a guy as a free agent rather than making a deal where you give up assets at that time of year. It's different once you have your bullpen set, or you lose guys, or the players that you have don't work out. The deadline is a different animal than the offseason, because think of how many years the Cardinals went into the offseason thinking, okay, well, we've got this guy, Chris Perez, or we've got this guy, Jordan Hicks, or we've got this guy, Ryan Helsley, or we've got this guy, Jason Mott. They're willing to give those guys a chance, Mitchell Boggs. And most teams do that. They want to give a young pitcher a chance. They say, yeah, he can be our closer. Then he either gets hurt or they find out by the time the trade deadline arrives that they don't have that guy. Look at the Dodgers. The Dodgers had 3 different closers. They had Kirby Yates, they had Trinan, they had Tanner Scott, and none of them have been able to stay healthy and be the closer for them this year. So they're looking for a guy, and they might not even get one, because who's left now? Who are the Dodgers going to get that's a closer out there?
Maton?
Well, he could.
Jojo Romero?
He's not exactly established closers.
No.
You say, okay, you know who's out there that could be traded is Kenley Jensen, ironically, who's with the Angels, and they could move him.
How about the Angels yesterday? Apparently saying that because they've won a couple of games in a row, they're like, you know what, we might try to make a run at this. They're 5 games back, and that might be the one player they actually trade is Kenley Jansen, and that's insane to me.
That's just bad ownership.
It's terrible ownership.
Yeah, he's Artie Moreno is not a very good guy to run an organization. All right, STL Sports Central, Shane Bieber to Toronto. Yep, that happened earlier this morning. So Toronto gets Biebs. They're still interested in bullpen help, and they're going to have a pretty solid starting five. That's going to be a good team and a threat come playoff time. They've got a lot of good things going. Eric Letford, Nolan Arenado, agent should tell him he won't win in St. Louis and ask to be traded. Well, he asked to come here, and he turned down 3 different opportunities to leave via an opt-out. He likes it here, but no, he's not going to win here. And I do think rather than asking to be traded, the way these things generally work is that if a player has a no-trade clause, they want to get some remuneration. They want to get something back in exchange for giving up the no-trade clause. And I don't think that Joel Wolf, the agent for Arenado, or Nolan are any different. If they get moved, they're going to want something about it. Even when he got moved here and he wanted it, he forced a move to St. Louis, he got an extra year and $15 million tacked onto his contract. And he got the no trade to be included still, and he got an extra opt-out. So, and that was when he desperately wanted to come here. So if he's lukewarm on going somewhere else, I don't think that he'd want to give up that leverage and that opportunity to either make more or have more power in the relationship.
Yeah, that's pretty much how that goes in business. I have a part of my contract that gives me value. If you want me to give up that part of the contract, you have to show me the money in a way.
Yep, no doubt. Bill Downton, going into the trade for Helsley, I was hoping for 2 teams' top 30 prospects and a wild card, which we got. Yeah, we got, the Cardinals, wound up with 2 decent prospects and then Frank the Tank.
Yeah, I think the important part isn't necessarily to look at where the prospects were ranked in the opposing teams' rankings. The important thing is to look at where they get ranked inside the Cardinals prospect system. And Baez comes in at number 6 for the Cardinals. Blaze Jordan comes in at number 19, and Dome slots in at number 15 in the Cardinals system. So I think that's a pretty fair return. There was a lot of different reactions to the return from Ryan Helsley last night, and I think part of the reason that it was affected was that a lot of people had seen the reaction for Duran, and they didn't bring into account the control factor.
2 years for Duran.
Exactly. His 2.0, his ERA in the 2 as opposed to Ryan Helsley's ERAs in the 3. Those 2 factors, especially more so the control than the ERA, if we're being honest, those are going to shift the value quotient you're looking at in a big way. And so that's why you just can't compare what the Cardinals got to the other deals based on just these huge difference in what these players are.
And I think the other thing that we need to remember as a fan base is you'd like to get guys that are major league ready. You'd like to get guys that say, okay, we're going to help the Cardinals. We're going to get guys to help the Cardinals in 2026. But the Cardinals are going to have a logjam on the 40-man roster as it is before they made the trades. And I think one of the reasons that they're trading for, they traded for 3 players from the Mets that are not going to wind up initially on the 40-man, is that they don't want to have to protect guys in the Rule 5. They're already overloaded with people that they'll have to protect in the Rule 5. And I know you might say, I don't care about Tekoa Roby, and I'm with you. Mm-hmm. I will roll the dice on Tekoa Roby, but they're just going to have a lot of players. Robertsay, Zerpe, Zach Thompson, Radjic, Hansen, Motts. You've got your Springfield rotation. You've got Bernal, you've got Joshua Baez, you've got Jimmy Crooks, you've got Wingquest. There's a ton of talent that the Cardinals have in their system, or at least they think it's talented, that they don't want to just have walk out the door in the Rule 5 draft. And the way I think that they'll have to wind up doing this is they'll just have to get rid of people that are rid of. They'll have to leave unprotected people from the major league roster.